Alright, what's going on, guys? I know a lot of people have been struggling with Rasial. Specifically, I know one of the big issues is right at the beginning of the fight because he does a lot of damage. So, this guide is going to be a little bit more involved than some of the last ones. Because in order to effectively kill Rasial, you kind of need to have a good rotation, and not having good rotation makes this fight take significantly longer than it would otherwise. So in order to do the rotation that I'm going to show you, which is not super difficult, you're going to want two of the following. You either need the Conservation of Energy Relic, you need the Supreme Invigorate Aura, or you need the Ring of Vigor passive, or active, honestly. Like, just having it on this entire fight also works too. You need two of those in order to do this rotation. You also need to have a Zuk Cape. Those are all mandatory. All of the rest of your gear is basically free because it's the tier 90 stuff that you should have already made. I'm wearing the tank armor for this just because it's a lot comfier. This doesn't have to be in Hazelmere's, obviously. This can be a Luck of the Dwarves. This can be a Ring of Vigor. This can be a 6th Age Circuit. If you have a Ring of Vigor, that's better than a 6th Age Circuit here, assuming you don't have the Ring of Vigor passive. So what we're going to do is we're going to explain kind of not exactly what Rasial does, but more what the point of this rotation is. So this is going to be like your highest damage rotation against bosses that just kind of stand there and you just hit them. As long as they don't have any crazy mechanics that require you to move, like, this is going to be one of the strongest things you can do. So against Rasial, or against like Raksha, just any boss really that stands still, what you want to do is you want to Death Skulls, then you want to use basics to go back up to 100 with 2 of the 3 energy savers or adrenaline savers. Your Death Skulls will cost 40, and with the Zuk Cape, so that's why you need both. So you just do 4 basics and then you'll go up to 100. Then you Living Death, you Adren Pot, and use another basic, preferably Touch of Death, and then you Death Skulls again. And then after that, you're just using basics, Finger of Death whenever you have 6 stacks, and Touch of Death. So to put this into practice, this is what it's going to look like. So we're going to summon these guys. We're going to activate these guys. Okay, Skulls. We're just going to use basics. Living Death. Adren Pot. Use Zap. Use Living Death. And then we're just going to use basic attacks now. Because your basic attacks generate 2 Necrosis stacks. So we're just going to use basics. And then our Skulls is back up again. We're going to use Finger of Death because we have 10 Necrosis stacks. We're going to use Touch of Death. We're going to build stacks again. We're going to Finger of Death. And then we're going to do this again. So that is your Living Death rotation. After you do that, you're just going to do what you normally do, which is rotate all of your generator abilities. And then once you have 3 residual souls, you use Volley of Souls. And then once you have at least 6 Necrosis stacks, you use Finger of Death. Bloat is also a good damage over time ability. So after your Living Death rotation, you can use Bloat. And then just try to make sure the Bloat debuff is on the enemy at all times. That's like pretty important. But yeah, that's like what your rotation is going to look like. So now I'm going to go into Rasial and do exactly what I said the rotation was going to be. I'm not using a Jazz Book right now because they're really expensive. I am going to be using Vuln Bombs. Vuln Bombs are really, really important at Rasial because, like, you just want to burst Rasial up front because most of the damage you're going to take is going to be between 700k and 600k because he just, like, auto-attacks you for 4,000 just over and over and over again. So, we're going to summon a Hellhound. For our aura, any defensive aura is fine if you just want to, like, get your couple kills. So we're going to use Aegis. We're going to drink our overload. I'm going to summon Vengeful Zombie, and then we're just going to go in. Or not Vengeful Zombie, Putrid Zombie. We're going to go in. As soon as we go in, summon Ghost, summon Skeleton, activate Ghost, activate Skeleton, Living Death, use our basics. Or Skulls, use our basics. Now we do Living Death. Skulls.
You've come a long way.
Okay, we're just building stacks now. Use Skulls again. We're at 12, so we're going to use Finger of Death. We're going to auto attack to build stacks. We're at 12 stacks now. Okay, so now, like, all I did was focus on doing the rotation. Now we're just going to, like, hit Rasial. And, like, actually look at what Rasial's doing. I'm going to activate my Excalibur here. So he summons these guys. I think they're just going to incidentally die here. So I used my ability a little bit late. I used my... I forget the name of this ability already. I used Devotion late. So, but whenever he says this is my true power, or I'll show you true power, that's when you want to that's when you want to pray Devotion. I don't have it. So, because I don't have Devotion, I'm just going to put on Pray Necro, because that's all that I can do. And then because we have so much health, it's, like, not too bad. So now we're going to do a Living Death rotation again. We're just going to press our abilities. That generates stacks. Also, notice I haven't eaten a single time this kill. I'm going to eat at some point soon. But I haven't eaten a single time. Also, I'm going to run out of prayer, so let's not do that. Gonna Skulls again. And we're just soul splitting and running back and forth. That's all that we're doing here. Gonna eat. I forgot to use a bloat. You should definitely use bloat. By the way, I just totally forgot in that fight. I'm gonna go over a second kill because that kill was he summoned the walls and he summoned the and he did another one as a mechanics at the same time, so I couldn't really explain it in real time. So we're gonna go over that part again, but in the beginning, I am only focused on doing the rotation. I'm not at all trying to, like, I'm not looking at Rasial at all. I'm literally just focusing on doing my rotation. So summon Ghost, summon Skeleton, activate Ghost, activate Skeleton, Death Skulls, Touch of Death, Soul Sap, basic attack, Living Death. We're going to Adren Pot here. Living Death. We're going to use Finger of Death since we're at 8 stacks. Use basics. So we used a ton of basics in a row to get up to 60 adrenaline. We're just going to use basics again. Okay, we use our last skulls. Now we're going to be focused on, like, paying attention to Rasial and, like, using our spenders. Activate Excalibur. When he says join us, you want to surge like forward and diagonally so that the wall doesn't walk into you. He's gonna do it again. I don't have enough adrenaline, so we're just gonna pray Necro, and then we're just gonna deal with it. Okay, we have enough stacks for a Finger of Death, so we're gonna use it. And we're just kind of letting our bar just do its thing. So here he barged into me. I'm gonna freedom, and then I'm gonna walk away. You want to maintain the, like, kind of the exact distance that I have here. Okay, I dove out of the way there. This is true power. I have enough to devotion, so I'm going to devotion. And I don't think I've eaten this kill. I think I'm just doing the, mechanics.
No more games.
I am actually going to run out of prayer, which is like kind of funny, but it's obviously that's not good. So because I have 50 adrenaline, I'm actually going to reflect here. Reflect is just like a really good ability here, and we're just going to make sure we're running back and forth. It's going to be the biggest thing. I'm also going to resonance here after the reflect is over. And then we're just going to keep running back and forth and casting our abilities. We just used Death Skulls, so we want to make sure that we're like decently close to this border so that he like actually gets hit by them. Okay. And that kill is a lot cleaner than the last one for sure. So yeah. That was like super simple. Rasial has... Basically, he has 4 major mechanics. We went over them decently well, but the first one is that I kind of glossed over. It doesn't matter. You can just tank it. But the first one is, what does he say? He says a phrase, and I forgot what the phrase is because I wasn't paying attention. Oh, I'm dying. I'm teleporting out. Okay. That was almost really bad. Okay, so when he says suffer at my hand, you want to switch to protect Necro. He's going to hit you like a 1600 through prayer. When he says this is true power, you want to protect Necro. And if you have devotion, you want to use devotion. If you don't, it's totally fine. With Aegis and Hellhound, it'll hit you like 3k. And with the tier 90 tank armor, you have 14k health. That's like not a big deal. When he says join us in death, he's going to summon the walls. You just want to surge away from him and then like walk out of the way of the walls. Or you want to, you can alternatively, you can dive behind the wall. Or you can like just dive to the side. And then in the last phase, you just want to make sure that you're running back and forth. And then you want to use, if you're like above 10,000 health, you want to use reflect. And then when your reflect is over, you want to use resonance. If you're below 10,000 health, you want to resonance first. Then after your res, you want to use reflect. And then after that, you're just using your basics, running back and forth, using your spenders. We didn't really talk about the minion mechanic because the rotation that I showed you guys will just skip all of that. So you just don't have to deal with it, which is really nice. But the way that minions work is that he summons minions once every single fight, like guaranteed. And then I think it's at 600k he summons them. And then if you walk closer than 3 squares, he'll say nowhere near, and then he'll summon minions. So just don't be that close to him. If you stand on the edge of the point that I was standing on, that's like a really good place to stand. But yeah, hopefully this helps you guys with Rasial. I think that's it. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.